the how and why of NICE, it started as a journey way back in 2005, 2006, when I was first exposed to modernist cuisine, modernist Indian cuisine, where the chefs have been able to address the Western palate without losing the grammar, but using the form and using the creativity to cater to the Western audience. That's when the understanding that we need to look at how do we promote our Indian culture to the global audiences was struck me. This manifested itself into Creative India Academy, where we promoted a number of artists to global audiences. Then it led to Indic Academy and Indica. And there the formulation that we should preserve, protect and promote our culture. To global audiences we have to promote it. And the way to do that was to think about our culture in terms of a product or a service or an experience. That was the basic formulation, that it is not enough to try to revive something of the past, but to make it relevant to the people today. And the way you can make it relevant to people today is only to consider it, only when you can consider it as a product, service or an experience. But the qualifying was that that product, service or experience should be authentic, immersive and transformative. So this whole framework that we developed, a 6-dimensional framework that we developed, was that first and foremost we need to think of it as preservation, protection and promotion. Then we have to think about it intellectually, culturally and spiritually. Then we have to think about it as a product, service or experience. And the whole point was that we need to think of ourselves as entrepreneurs. That was the first and foremost insight in our strategy. And then if you look at our culture itself and look at putting a framework around it, think of 5 sheets, 5 circles, 5 concentric circles. The outer circle is at the gross level. You have cuisine, you have Ayurveda, you have yoga and you have craft. So that's at the gross level. The second level is at the emotional level, and this emotional level could be any visual arts, performing arts, entertainment, cultural experiences. And the third level, the third circle, is the Indic knowledge systems. The fourth is the language and the fifth is the text, the original scriptures. So if you put the culture in these 5 circles, the outer circle, the portal, the very portal is these 4, which is the yoga, the cuisine, the craft and Ayurveda. So now, and the second is the experiences. So if you actually look at it, out of the 5 circles, the first 2 have the potential for an enterprise, the potential for a business, and the last 3 have the potential for education. So if you look at it, of the 5 circles, the first 2 circles are enterprise oriented and the last 3 are education oriented. And that is exactly what we are trying to do here through Indica and NICE. So NICE is focused on cultural enterprises. And if you look at the 5 sectors that NICE is focused on, the 5 sectors are experiential tourism, which is the second layer which we was talking about. It's talking about food, it's talking about home decor, fashion and jewelry, and wellness. So all those are the outer circle which lend themselves to be cultural enterprises. So that is how the framework that has happened. So from Indica we set up a center for soft power, and that was just primarily to promote our culture to global audiences, interviewing all the Indophiles around the world. And from there we incubated NICE, and NICE was established, the company itself was established in 2019, but actually took off last year with Sanjay joining as a co-founder. Sanjay is a very old friend. Actually, we both were investors in one company way back in 2000, but we didn't know that we were co-investors at that point in time. And in 2015, we had an opportunity to invest in a company together. We were the seed investors in a company together. And then he and I were on the board. We were regularly discussing. It was a startup, so it required a lot of intense effort from the directors also. And he's also part of the mail group. Now, Sanjay is very much focused on the economics of it. He's always focused on the business. He's always focused on the economics. On the other hand, I'm focused on the culture. I'm focused on the identity and the culture. So we have a sort of every conversation is economy first and culture can be fixed later. Then I say that culture first and economy will result from that. So we have these opposite spectrum. We are on the opposite spectrum. But it's a very nice coincidence that we have come together to address both the issues, to address the business side of it, the economic side of it, and to address the culture side of it. So in a way, NICE, setting up of NICE and Sanjay joining me as a co-founder is a partnership and a dream come true of two diametrically opposite views, but coming together for a common purpose and a merger of thoughts. So I'm very happy that Sanjay has come on board as a co-founder last year. Actually, I was seeking mentorship from him because I was very much busy with what was happening at Indica. And I was seeking help from him and invited him to be on the advisory board. And for a couple of months we were struggling. Then I said, look, Sanjay, why don't you steer this? Because this requires a full-time attention of somebody, and I won't be able to do justice to both. So he readily agreed, and he came on board as a co-founder. And ever since then, the last 1 year, he has really spearheaded this. He's got volunteers. He's got now Vidya has joined as the CEO. So this whole success of NICE is really Sanjay's leadership and the way he has been able to mobilize the team and set together all these programs. Why now? Well, because the time has come. Every country, if you look at Porter's competitive advantage of nations, every country has some kind of a competitive advantage. Some have locational advantages, some are resource rich. India, apart from other things, apart from being a global market, it has civilizational culture as a competitive advantage. And that realization has come to the world at large, primarily because it's moved to a situation wherein well-being is becoming a very, very important individual value. In terms of what you're eating, well, the cuisine, if you see the global trend towards vegetarian and vegan and plant-based diets, yoga we already know, in terms of meditation, and in terms of using products either on your body or at home that are craft, that are made around the world by in sustainable way. So if you see, this is a global movement that has happened wherein conscious capitalism, people are more aware of what they consume. There has been a pushback, so to speak, in terms of this consumerism that was there in the last few decades. But now a consumer, the millennials, the Gen Z are aware of what they are consuming. And they are aware that they do not want to consume any product that is damaging the environment, that is made in a sustainable fashion. And it is adding to their well-being. So this is a global tailwind that we have. And we, from India, have to realize that this new class, this creative class, this conscious class that is there, that is wanting this consumption of all these things, we have a lot to offer. So therefore, this is the time that has come wherein the market is open. You're not ahead of the market. The market is craving for your product. It's already consuming some of those products. So therefore, it is up to us now to offer them, and offer them in a manner that's authentic, immersive, and transformative. So all that we are doing at NIST is ensuring that we encourage entrepreneurship in all these areas. These 5 focus areas that we talked about. We encourage entrepreneurship, nurture entrepreneurship in this fashion. My vision for NIST, I always tell my friends that NIST is at the intersection of 3 organizations which everybody can relate to. TIE, an Angel Network or a Keiretsu Network, and a NASSCOM. So NIST at a point in time has to meet, it has to be a merger of all these 3 ideas. It has to nurture entrepreneurship, cultural entrepreneurship, and become a TIE kind of an organization around the world. It has to have an angel network of all passionate individuals who want to invest in their passion and around the world. And then it has to be an advocacy body with the government, not just in India, but around the world, to encourage policies in such a manner that would nurture entrepreneurship. More than that, Thailand, for example, 20 years back, started what is known as a culinary diplomacy, and through that program they established more than 10,000 restaurants in the world. What at NIST my particular desire to see would be is to move from culinary diplomacy to well-being diplomacy. If India can establish and create a policy called well-being diplomacy, wherein all these factors that we are talking about, all the 5 sectors effectively result in well-being, be it yoga, be it consciousness, be it Ayurveda, be it cuisine, be it craft, all these sectors that we are focused on collectively are focused on the well-being, not just of the individual, but the planet itself. So if we are able to articulate this to the government and bring forth policy as well-being diplomacy, that would be a major milestone in my opinion.